sounds glorious in retrospect, but there's so much hard time, as you were talking about, that to kind of because if you think of a regular developer's time and how they spent 8 hours and go home, you got to do twice or three times as much just to maintain that, just to see 10 years of your fruit and labor later. If everything goes well, right? That's when you really enjoy things and see the scale kind of stack up our way.
I've had teachers, because we've been doing this about 9 years. And so we've had, for the most part, we've had great relationships with teachers. If there's been any failing, it's been my failing of just being too busy and, something that just the business did dumb, but we've had a couple of instances where we've had partners that just turned toxic, and one of them created his own school in the middle of me launching his class, and just kind of sidelined me. And, it was done really horribly, in my opinion. But, I understood the pressure. This guy wanted control, and he needed control. So he took extreme measures, which meant, doing what he did, with our business relationship. So, I'm not going to fault him for it, but at the end of the day, that school that he created, burned down, just like some of my other businesses, because, he thought you can go out there and you can do this and I'll get some control, but, he didn't realize the cost of that control. And today he works for somebody else and he does some stuff on his own. And that's a great solution for people. When you have the day job and you have your business on the side, that's something where it's like you have the best of both worlds as long as you have the time. You can do that, and somebody who I admire for doing that right now is Chris Costa, with his Fly on the Wall studios. And he's set up a really nice, it's structurally, I haven't talked to him in ages, but it's a beautiful system where it's like he has his day job and at night he just basically has an atelier where people look over his shoulders and as he works. I think it's great. That's a fantastic way to start. The problem happens is when you quit the day job and it's like, now I have to be a provider because you're a guy and a guy provides. That's like, there is miles of baggage around, what that means to be a provider. But it certainly means a certain amount of money every single month. And that becomes hard, at a certain point.
I think that was one of the scariest steps to kind of wrap my head around, because being a salaryman for so long, suddenly the checks have to come from yourself, or you have a big project that pays off for the next few months. It's a different type of thinking of how money is processed that I've never had any training or talking to. I didn't come from a family of wealth, so I didn't have like a bunch of mentors to tell to me about how money actually works. So I'm a lot of self-education on that part. But you're touching on a subject that is very important, that I feel like a lot of entrepreneurship, they do cover a bit, but they stay really on the positive side. It's like, hey, you have that passion, you go for it. You have something that someone out there doesn't have a product for, and you're filling a need. But like the partnership, the relationship, and the turmoil of that, and going to business with friends and trusting family, and oh my God, if someone told me that, hey, going to business with a best friend or something actually will be a terrible thing, you better be better be prepared to say goodbye to that friendship if nothing works out, right?
Yeah.
Was
that
not
friend or the
for
business.
That. Exactly. Would love to hear more about that side, because that's something that I'm learning by doing this. It's just like it's hard to grab a beer with a friend that like screwed you over recently, like the trust right there is not the same when something like that can happen, because it really tests a relationship. I always kind of compared it to like a second marriage. It's like everything is just fast forward 50 years with the worst possible conditions, and you're just stress testing what you guys are made of, basically.